There's a perception in the community that the City Council is forming this commission because we are undecided on how we will vote on this letter of intent. I want to make it absolutely clear to the citizens of the 3rd Ward and the rest of the city that I do not support pursuing hydroelectric power, and I think signing the letter of intent is a waste of this council's time and resources. My constituents and I do not have our heads in the sand. We realize that there is a chance that hydropower could one day lead to a revenue stream for the city government. My constituents and I think that that's beside the point. As a basic principle, the government should be creating an environment for private business to thrive and not competing with it. Our city government's role should not include being in the business of selling and or developing energy. We should let energy companies take those risks, realize those profits, and create those jobs. Putting that basic principle aside, accepting the risk of becoming an energy company to pay off the millions lost on the previous hydro development project is dangerous. Nobody can assure us what energy prices and maintenance costs will be in 10, 20, or 50 years from now. All it takes for this to become a huge money pit for the city is for any energy prices to drop and for the maintenance costs to rise, or just poor city management, which shouldn't be a stretch considering running an energy company is not one of our core competencies. I'm not disparaging those willing to serve. I'm grateful for these members of our community. I'm voting against this commission because we were elected to make these decisions, not to pass the buck to non-elected leaders in our community. Forming this commission will just be an attempt to insulate ourselves from the decision-making process. It will give elected officials another non-elected group of people to blame should this project turn south. Any one of us can seek the thoughts of any citizen or any expert on hydro. We don't need a commission to do that for us. I also have a problem with how this commission was formed. Again, non-elected citizens selected without the input of the council members. I have a problem with the fact that the long-term costs or opportunities of developing hydroelectric won't be felt for decades, yet there is not a single represented person from my generation on this commission. Finally, if the council needs to form a commission to study signing a letter of intent, how can my constituents trust the council to make tougher decisions regarding this issue that will surely be coming down the line? Will those decisions be passed along to the commission? And what recourse will the voter have against this commission? They will have none. Forming a commission when the information has been available for months, when constituents have weighed in with their opinions, and we've been able to ask Coastal anything we please, is delaying the one thing the community has been asking us to do, and that is to vote on this issue. The folks in my ward who I have spoken with aren't conflicted on hydropower, and I wanted them to know that their new alderman is standing with them. Thank you.
Amen.
I'll ask Chambers to be quiet. Thank you. Any additional comments, Alderman Mussolino?
Your Honor, I just wanted to make a statement stating that the members of the commission that have been chosen, I have complete confidence in each and every one of those members. They're great contributors to our community. I have studied it. I've talked to the citizens of my ward, and in my opinion, the collective voice in my ward is that we need to stop this. And I don't need a committee to tell me how I'm going to vote on whether or not to move forward with the letter of intent. And that's all.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alderwoman Heineke.
Thank you. The only thing I really had to say was, Jared, that was beautiful. I really don't understand what more they could learn that we couldn't already learn from Anderson asking him directly. We've had his email address, his cell phone number, so I don't understand. Somebody needs to tell me what this group of honorable gentlemen with no woman on this can do.
Any additional questions? Alderman Brink.
Let me answer that question, Your Honor. I think when we discussed Hydro 21, Alderman Sasson asked a question on a regular basis, are we putting taxpayers at risk? I think we know the answer to that question. And in my opinion, I have made my determination as far as answer those questions, but in order to do the proper procedure and do due diligence and give this thing the proper consideration, have an independent committee look at this thing and determine, are we putting people at risk? and it will cost us any money.
Any additional questions? Alderman Ryan,
The issue of voting on this letter of
if you can speak into your mic.
Yeah, the
Thank
issue
you.
of voting for the letter of intent, when are we doing that?
We were scheduled to vote on that in 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's my understanding that Coastal has said to Alderman Brink that they would be willing to delay that for 60 to 90 days. That being said, that new time frame has not been given to the administration. So I'm assuming that if the council voted for this commission, that vote would be delayed to meet the timeline of the commission, and that also would need to be agreed upon by Coastal. They would have to write up a new letter of intent with new dates, because the letter of intent is very time-specific in when the negotiations need to be done and when the development agreement needs to be executed. So if the council voted on this today, my feeling is that we'd go back to Coastal, make sure they're okay with it, have them give us a new letter of intent with new dates that were agreeable to the commission. I don't know if they know how long it'll take them to reach the decision. And then, as long as everybody was agreeable with that, you'd be represented with that, and then when the motion came before the council in 2 weeks, it would need to be tabled again.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Alderman.
Alderman Ryan, are you complete? Thank you. Actually, I'd like to have, and I'm blindsiding him with this, so I apologize, Chuck. Belveheimer, I do have a question for you, and I do apologize for not talking to you in prior. And the reason I'm asking you up here, Chuck, is you were project manager for the prior project.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here's my question. And this may be a bit of an unfair question. If it is, please tell me. And I mean that. If it's unfair, I want you to tell me. I've looked at this project, as well as a number of us have, since the beginning. It appears to me that while this is a significantly different structure, we're going into this with some preconceived notions of we understand we don't want risk, we understand we don't want cost. Those preconceived notions did not necessarily exist the first time around, did they?
That's correct.
So we basically were, I don't want to say going by the seat of our pants, but we were kind of adapting to the changes in the project as it went. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, because there was the 2009 Stimulus Act that kind of snowballed right into what we were
Right.
trying to do with energy funding. And plus, we weren't aware of this declaratory judgment that FERC could give, which could bless the proceedings of the partnership that Coastal is now saying they would pursue with any type of arrangement that worked out between the city of Quincy and Coastal.
So our previous arrangement, or the even though it was a moving target, because I do remember Alderman Sasson asking at every juncture if this was risky to the taxpayer, and we were assured it was not. Quite frankly, you know, some of us up here doubted that assertion at that point even. But anyway, that's water under the bridge. My question would be then, with that being said, so did I just hear you say that we were not aware that FERC could basically pre-bless or preordain? Or
I was not aware prior on 21 that there was a declaratory order that FERC could basically review a arrangement, again, which is essentially the agreement before it was approved, to say that, yeah, they would accept that partnership arrangement.
And that has been all along since we started this discussion, has been understood that that would have to happen before
Yes.
anything else happened.
That's what Coastal has told us.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, Alderman
Chuck,
Farquhar.
sir. I do want to correct the record because we're giving the wrong impression to the public. We had several meetings in the Finance Committee. I don't remember ever the administration and the alderman ever saying there wasn't risk to the previous hydro project. We all knew there was financial risk. We were the developer, we were the owner, we had no partner. We took 100% of the risk. And in fact, We had violent disagreement as to the financing. We had violent disagreement as to whether we should be issuing general obligation bonds or revenue bonds, and that's not a distinction without real meaning. General obligation bonds directly encumber the taxpayers of the city of Quincy. Revenue bonds don't. And we had those discussions and we had disagreement. We took 100% of the risk with that. It's proven unwise, and some of us have apologized to the public for it, me
Well,
included.
Alderman, I will correct your record in a minute. Those were set up as construction appreciation, is that the CAB bonds, where there was always understood, the aldermen were told that would be rolled into the construction cost and there was no risk. I'm sorry, that's the way it went down. Is that correct? They were general obligation bonds as they're issued, but the instruction, the understanding was that we were told, at least in the finance committee that I was at, that those would be rolled into the construction bonding that we were no longer responsible for, that would be paid from revenue. The point of that argument is salient because we're talking about risk on this project. These are two totally separate projects. Exactly. And I think they need to be looked at on the merits on their own. I understand we've lost $5 million. But I think it's very important to look at these projects on their own. Alderman Brink is right in more than one regard, but one regard that we have a revenue issue. If we can do this without risk and without cost, I think we have to at least look at it. But the problem we have with this commission is we're putting the cart before the horse, in my opinion. This council needs to make a decision, whether we want to move forward or not.
So are you offering a substitute motion?
I would be willing to vote on the a letter of intent today. I don't believe we can do that.
We don't do it.
I
We
said I'm
can't do it.
willing. I didn't make the motion, but I would be willing.
The letter of intent was tabled for 1 month, and so the course of procedure, if you want to bring it off the table, would be a new business to bring it off the table and be placed on next week's agenda, or if you wanted to give it the 4 weeks that was asked for, it would be on the agenda from 2 weeks from today. And then you could choose to vote on it or not. And we could also talk to Coastal if they would amend the letter of intent to properly reflect, one, the month that has transpired from when we originally took the issue up, but then two, if the council wishes to form a commission, and we would maybe, sounds like we might want to add a few people, give us a few times to get those people together, so that way our letter of intent actually reflects a realistic time frame for the city of Quincy. So is your a motion withdrawal, Alderman Havermill?
I didn't make a motion. I said I was willing to
Oh,
make
okay.
a motion. I'm willing to somebody give me $1 million, but that's not going to happen either. So.
Okay, so the question before us, we have a motion, a second, to adopt this resolution. Are there any further questions or discussions?
Well, I'd just like to comment, I think that the commission would be better focused if they would review the work product from Coastal after we sign the letter of intent.
We have a motion and a second. Any additional questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale.
No.
Mand.
No.
Dusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook.
No.
Havermill.
No.
Farha.
Aye.
Sassen.
No.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
No.
Brink.
Aye. Aye.
Heinecke.
No.
Hoslag.
Aye.
7 yeas, 7 noes.
The mayor votes no.
You need to say resolution.
The resolution is defeated.
Have up for first presentation ordinance amending Chapter 20, added vehicle language. Could be anybody.
I'll entertain a motion.
Read it the first time.
Mr.
Make a
Chairman,
motion to read it first time by title.
second.
We have a motion and a second to read this ordinance first time by its title. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk will now read the ordinance first time by title.
Oops. got the wrong one. An ordinance amending Article 5 parking rules of Chapter 20, traffic vehicles of the municipal code of the city of Quincy of 1980. Herein is the first reading by title only. Another ordinance up for first presentation, and this is amending our fiscal year budget.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Alderman
Move
Gutierrez.
for be read by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to read this first time by title. All those in favor? Opposed? Clerk will now read this ordinance first time by title.
An ordinance amending the 2013-2014 fiscal year budget. Herein is the first reading by title only.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Alderman.
I move the requirements of Section 2207 of the Code of the City of Quincy be waived and the ordinance adopted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, clerk, please.
Mr. Chairman, I just
Yes.
might say that this is, we maintain a fund balance that is unappropriated, and our expenses are higher than anticipated. So we are recognizing some of the proceeds of that fund reserve that exists for the insurance and setting it so that we can pay a bill, essentially.
Any additional comments? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gale. Aye. Mand.
Aye.
Deusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook.
Aye.
Havermill.
Aye.
Farha.
Aye.
Sassen.
Aye.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Heinecke.
Aye.
Oslog.
Aye.
Mayor.
Aye. The ordinance is adopted.
15 votes. Next ordinance is up for first presentation, and this is amending the district map, zoning R1C to C2 at 1612 North 24th.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Alderman.
I move we read the ordinance by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to read this first time by title. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Clerk will now read this ordinance first time by title.
An ordinance amending the district map, which is made a part of Section 29.102 of the municipal code of the city of Quincy of 1980. Herein is the first reading by title only. Another ordinance up for first presentation, and is also the zoning of RU1 to R1A, known as Ridgeview Estates.
Your Honor,
Yes,
I
Alderman.
move this to be read first time by title only.
We have a motion and a second to read this first time by title. All those in favor? Opposed? Clerk will now read this first time by title only.
An ordinance amending the district map, which is made a part of Section 29.102 of the municipal code of the city of Quincy of 1980. Herein is the first reading by title only. Next ordinance is also amending the district map, R1C to C1A at 2336 Oak.
Mr. Chairman, we've had a couple calls that not all the neighbors have had, that we've had a chance to talk to, so I make a motion that we lay this on the table.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the last ordinance is also first presentation, and this is for planned development at 1739 Oak.
Your Honor, I move we read this first time by title.
We have a motion and a second to read this ordinance first time by title. All those in favor? Opposed? Clerk will now read the ordinance first time by title only.
An ordinance granting a special use permit for a planned development. Herein is the first reading by title only. Okay, I have the report of the Finance Committee. Transfers to be $75,000, expenditures $142,997.26, and payroll to be $675,963.14 for our Hoslog Havermill Committee.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Alderman.
I move the vouchers be issued, the report be received and the vouchers issued for the various amounts.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, or any, never mind. Clerk, please call the roll.
Something like that.
Yeah, something.
Like that. Okay.
Let's vote.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Mand.
Aye.
Deusterhouse.
Aye.
Bauer.
Aye.
Holbrook.
Aye.
Havermill.
Aye.
Farha. Sassen.
Aye.
Rhine.
Aye.
Lepper.
Aye.
Mussolino.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Heinecke.
Aye.
Oslog.
Aye.
14 ayes.
Motion carries.